So now that public comment is closed, Mr. Hassan, we're moving on to the next part of this, which is, again, district goals. And so I still have the screen to share. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. And just for clarity, yes. I do apologize if it wasn't originally added on the agenda, but those two items, the discussion of district goals and the CSA merit goals, they were included in the public advertisement that was sent out to the newspapers for today's meeting. So they were publicly advertised on the agenda as appropriate. Just was not included on board docs. We apologize for that.
Okay, great. Thank you for that clarity. And to the person who called in, Ms. Bulch, we will work to make sure that everything matches up. We do know that that's very important, and it's been something that's been brought to our attention on numerous occasions. Okay, so with the district goals, again, let me just share the screen. Where is it? Okay, I think this is it. Okay, so everybody can see, yes? Yes, okay. All right, so these are the district goals, and just for clarity, board members, we initially met with Deborah Keys Wright when she did a presentation for us, and we broke off into groups, and we, the board members came up with district goals for 2020, 2021. During the December 14th board meeting, we pulled out these as the most important out of the list of goals that the board members were interested in and making the district goals for 2021, and they're listed here for you to see. And these district goals that we're looking at, we will, again, this will be approved pending another session with the Chief School Administrator, Dr. Mitchell. So we want to make that clear. Shen was unavailable today, having been riced for the meeting on December 29th. For the meeting today, December 31st, she was unavailable due to, oh yes, I'm sorry.
Excuse me, Madam President.
Yes.
These are the district goals for 2021-22, and it says on it, it says 2021.
I'm sorry, you're absolutely.
So just before you go any further, please.
Yes, let's make that correction. Thank you very much. That was incorrectly typed. That should be district goals for 2021-2022. Thank you, and we'll make that correction. And so these were pulled out from our December 14th board meeting, and these are the goals that the board members identified were the most important for the district to focus on. And again, as I said before, very quickly, Dr. Mitchell was riced for this meeting. For today, unfortunately, she was not available. She is with her mom right now, who's just had surgery. So we are going to be looking to do a review with her after the beginning of the year. But this board today will be adopting these goals pending that review. So right now, we can make a motion to adopt these goals. We can get it seconded, and then if there's any discussion from the board members, we can do it at that time.
So the motion would be to move it pending.
Well, Attorney Blackburn, what would be the correct verbiage for making the motion?
You were going to adopt them. Yes. Pending further input from the superintendent.
All right.
I move it. So moved.
I seconded. Okay, very good. So do we have any discussion from board members regarding what's listed here? Ms. Henbury, Mr. Campbell, Ms. Morgan, Ms. Pyle?
No, it seems like the information within is correct. It does say 21, 22.
Okay.
It's just a typo.
Yeah, now the only thing that I noted, which is different, would be number 5, just a point of clarity, because it says improve the graduation rate at Plainfield High School by 10% by June of 2020, using 69% as the base. I think that that number is actually more accurately 65.5 as the graduation rate for this year. And so we want to just make sure we mark it from what is currently posted as the graduation rate for Plainfield High School. And this information is being referenced from the information that was applied by the superintendent, as well as what's posted on the New Jersey Department of Education website.
Great.
So we can just make that change to the 65.5 as the base, then we would be accurate.
Do we have to make a motion concerning the amendment?
Just simply, if Ms. Pyle, if you moved it, if you would accept the amendment, and Ms. Morgan, you seconded.
Yes.
So you want to just the motion as amended.
Okay,
Amendment. So moved.
I second it.
Hey, thank you. Oh, and did we need to do that with respect to the year on top of the district goal that you pointed out was incorrect?
Yes, because you'd already done that. So there would be with those two amendments. It is the 2021 and the 65.5.
Okay, so those two things. Okay, very good. Okay, so with that said, can we call for the vote?
I think the other question, was there any further discussion?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Was there any further discussion from anyone? Mr. Campbell, Ms. Hembry?
Yes, I have
Yes, Mr. Campbell.
goal number 2.
Yes.
I think that's a goal that may be a little tough to achieve in the timeline that you set.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it may be a little unrealistic to expect that to happen by June 22nd.
Mm-hmm. And what are you proposing? Do you have like a revision in mind to that?
Well, I would just like to see how other board members feel about it.
Okay.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I would agree with Mr. Campbell. However, this should be ongoing anyway. It shouldn't have to wait for a district goal to make sure that third graders are reading on their grade level.
Ms. Pyle, I'm so sorry. You're scratchy. I'm not sure if it's your.
Maybe it's my connection.
Okay, I just want to make sure we can hear you clearly.
If I should take this off.
That's right there.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I was saying, I would agree with Mr. Campbell regarding the timeline. However, it should have already been in process that third graders should be reading on their grade level. So if it's not, then yeah, we definitely have an issue here. I think that it should remain as is because third graders should read on third grade level and so forth. And so, in other words, this should be worked on every year. This should be a no-brainer type of goal.
Ms. Morgan?
Yes, I agree with Board Member Pyle that from my perspective, we're just confirming what should be happening in the school district beginning in September of this school year. And it also should have been something that was planned during the summer. You know, how do we get our students to third graders reading on third grade levels? It shouldn't be something that, oh, we have to do that. No, that's what needs to be done. And during the pandemic, there's 2 groups of students who are in a lot of at a critical point. And those are second graders going to third grade and ninth graders. So we don't want to add the ninth graders today, but I think everyone on this board should be aware that this is a critical problem across the nation concerning reading. And we know if students can't read by third grade, it's not going to get better. It's going downhill. So I agree. And again, I agree with Board Member Pyle that this is something that should already be in place. And we're just confirming that this is clearly an expectation of this board in terms of district goals.
Okay, thank you very much. Board Member Workman? Morning, I apologize, I'm just not feeling well. So I concur with what Ms. Morgan and Ms. Pyle said, and in addition, we have to set the bar high for our students, right? I mean, reading is almost like a basic thing, right? Yeah. We know that reading is the one thing that then impacts every other thing in their life. So if they can read, then it motivates them to do all these other things. Mm-hmm. So I feel like we should have these expectations of our children. We should expect that they are reading well, they're doing all these other things, and kind of have them now take the pride in themselves and have the expectation of themselves that they can do anything. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I understand what Mr. Campbell is saying, but this is a necessity. This is one of the basic things we need in order to educate our children. Thank you. I'm going to turn my camera back off now.
That's okay. Okay, Ms. Hembry, are you good? Did you have any comments? I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
Not on that one, but on number 5.
Okay. All right, so I'll just say what I have to say with number 2. I concur with Ms. Workman, Ms. Pyle, and Ms. Morgan, leaving it as is, again, setting the bar high, that we have an expectation that should ripple out from us to the superintendent, to the building administrators, to the instructors, to the children, that this is the expectation. So I'm in agreement with what they're saying. Okay, Ms.
Excuse me, yes. Madam Chair, just yes. one last thing regarding number 2. And I don't know how it's phrased, but I do know, and I have heard that the 3rd graders, this is how, I don't know, the government decides how many prisons we should have. And it's a known, with all the conferences that I've gone to, it's known that on the 3rd graders, somehow it's worded more eloquently, that this is how they determine how many prisons they should have. And I would hate for Plainfield to be one of their studies. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Great point.
Thank you very much. And Ms. Hembry, you had a comment on number 5, I believe?
Yes. So for 2022, we're going to go 10%. We have to get to 92%. So how many years are we talking about?
Wow.
Great point.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. In order for a school to come out of status, you got to be at 92, 93%. So if you're doing 10%, well, you're given, next 5 years or something? Mm. And it only takes 3 years to come out of status if you do the right thing. Mm-hmm. So I think you should look at that one.
Okay. And Ms. Hembry, do you have a suggestion in terms of what you'd like to adjust that percentage to?
I think it should be at least 20%. Okay, because the problem is, this is the problem with the rate. You have to look at the cohorts. Everyone for 12th grade now, every student who came in 9th grade, where are they if they're not applying for high school? And that is the problem with the district. They don't know where they are. They don't keep. Children come in, transfer, children come in. So the transfer records, what do you do with them? It's a form that you fill out to keep up with these children. So the problem is the district, the high school need to identify where all those children are who came 9th grade. Where are they if they're not applying for high school? That goes for the 11th graders this year, the 10th graders, the 9th graders, because you do lose children, but where are they? That is what the rate is based on. Because we don't keep good records. Where are these children? So you mean to tell me that aggressively you can't find out where these children went? If It is an aggressive plan.
Mhm.
If you don't have an aggressive plan, it's gonna take you 5 years, like you have 10%.
Mhm.
And that's for each year
Mhm. Okay.
of 12th graders. Where are they if they're not at Plainfield High School? Because every child who came 9th grade, that's their cohort, has to be accounted for. If you
Okay.
don't know where they are, that is the reason the rate is what it is. That is the reason Plainfield High School is in status. That's one of the variables.
Thank
So-
you.
So,
I'm sorry. Finish your thought, Ms. Hembry. You were
no,
going to say
that's
something?
it. So you need to, as a group, we need to decide. You
Mhm.
want 10%? Take you about 5 years. You want the high school to be, the district to be more aggressive and finding out where these children are each year? Years ago, we knew where every kid, I don't know what happened in the breakdown, but it's not an Einstein problem.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ms. Hembry. That was really good information. Miss Morgan.
Yes, I did some math while during the discussion. So if we increase the 10% to 20% for this school year, that would put us at about 79% by June 22.
Okay.
And then and hopefully the next year, if we project a 20% increase, then we would be up to about 95%. So then we're really making some progress.
For June, June
yes,
2023.
Yes, for 2023. So I agree with a minimum of 20% instead of 10% for item number 5.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, and so I will add a comment to number 5 as well. Based on what Ms. Hembry was saying, Ms. Morgan, I agree, because if we are talking about being as aggressive as we're talking about with the expectation with goal number 2, with an expectation that all of our 3rd graders will be proficient and reading at grade level, that's just a standard. That's just a standard that we have in terms of an expectation, that we should also have that same expectation with the rate at which we graduate seniors within our school district. So, and I agree, Ms. Hembry, in the sense of making these tiny, small, incremental steps, trying to get somewhere. That's not going to get us where we need to be. And I think as a board, we're always being messaged when we do our training about sending a message to the district, letting them know what our expectations are of them, so that they can properly plan and they know, where we stand and what we're expecting. And I don't think that these are unreasonable expectations. And I think it really should be something that would want to drive the district to get this done. So I'm in agreement with raising it by 20%. And that's me. All right, any other comments on any of the, well, first of all, how does everybody feel about adjusting what Ms. Hembry said from 10% by June 2020, adjusting that number to 20%, with the understanding, as Ms. Morgan pointed out, the following year, it would also be 20%, looking for graduation rates to go to 79%. And then in that 3rd year, again, another 20% goal, looking to put us at a 95% graduation rate by June 2023.
Madam Vice President, if I may just ask one question.
Sure,
this
go
is
ahead.
just to go back to a comment that we've done both through Ms. Keys-Wright's presentations and your earlier discussions. And that is just to remember that the goals are supposed to be SMART goals.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And so the question is, both measurable and attainable.
Mm-hmm.
Within that time period, with just the reminder that at this juncture, you've got 6 months left in the school year. So, because the next step after the district goals is the superintendent adopts the action plan that goes along with that. Mm-hmm. So I would just remind, or just as a reminder that, because I've heard you all talk about aspirational goals, mm-hmm. and there's a difference between the aspirational goals and the SMART goals.
Mhm.
So that's just a comment for you all to keep in mind.
And Madam Chair?
Yes, Ms. Pyle.
I agree with Attorney Blackburn, and I was wondering, and I agree with, definitely agree with Ms. Hembry and Ms. Morgan and yourself. What if, I don't know if I could discuss this here, but what if this was put in the merit goal instead of changing
I wouldn't
it
discuss that in public.
here? Okay, great. You answered my question. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, Ms. Hembry?
Also, the SMART goal, you can increase it by 20% even for the SMART goal. First of all, we're dealing with the high school in status, and this is one of the variables. So if you don't want, first of all, the school has been in status. I think this is the 3rd year now, and it only takes 3 years to come out of status. So we are, as board members, we're responsible for this. So each year that the schools are in status, it's a reflection on us also.
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't know. I think it's really good that these schools are coming out to talk about what's going on, and at some point the high school will also come. And what is their plan? What's the implementation plan? So I think as part of the small goal, why can't you have 20%? It's not in that, it may be an aspiration also, but it is what we need. You can't do a 10% unless you want to be in status forever. And it is the responsibility of the superintendent to make sure that this happens.
Well, I will be for this if you want to make a change.
Thank you, Ms. Hembry. And we have to add at some point, we have to begin to set the bar higher, and we can't just be apathetic and have low expectations in terms of what we think is possible. And even if we happen, and thank you, Attorney Blackburn, we really appreciate your comments. And we're looking at trying to set the bar high. We may not hit the goal, but we certainly set the bar high enough that people become more aggressive. And you're right, Ms. Hembry, because then it's just a bunch of excuses. You know, we keep trying to minimize all the reasons why it can't get done, as opposed to saying enough is enough, let's just problem solve. We talked about the district as a whole doing all of these labor management initiatives where there are these partnerships between the teaching staff and the administration to foster creative ideas and plans to drive the district forward. So I'm in agreement with the adjustment to 20%.
Ms. Blackburn, do we have to?
Okay. And do we have any other comments or discussions with regard to 5? Where do we stand in terms of leaving it as it is, or taking Ms. Hembry's recommendation of adjusting it to 20%?
Can you hear me?
Yes, you still.
So do we have to amend that as well? Okay, so do I make another motion to amend?
Yes.
Or add an amendment?
Or unless you want to finish, unless there's any more discussion, what you can just do is get it all modified and then make the motion.
Oh, you mean all 5 items?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
All right, we can do that way. Is that okay, Ms. Pyle?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right, so looking at the remainder, of the items, was there anything else between numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5? Anybody any comment with? I'm just trying to see if Jackie had her hand up. Ms. Hembry, yes.
I just have a comment, not to change anything, but number 4, in case, I don't know if the board members know, but this year, next year, 22, because this is the 30th, right?
Mm-hmm.
In April next year, we're going to have for the first time for the 11th graders, the New Jersey graduation proficiency assessment. And back in the day, it was called the 11th grade proficiency. Now, go back to the PSAT and SAT. In case the students don't make this, well, it was 750 on the park, so I don't know what it's going to be on this exam. But you have alternatives if you don't make the score. The PSAT, if you make a 40, that's acceptable on the reading and the math. The SAT, if you make a 400 in reading and math, that's acceptable. So as a 11th grader, if you don't make the score, then as a 12th grader, you don't have to take the test over because you made the 40 on the PSAT, you made the 400 on the SAT. So this is very important, number 4, because many of the kids don't take it.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, do we have any other?
So,
Yes, Ms. Morgan.
Madam Vice President, so
Yes.
at this juncture, should we make a motion to amend item number
Yes.
5 to 20%? So Carmen Cedar, would you like to make the motion to make the amendment, and I'll second it?
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll clean up the entire motion and say, I'll make 3 amendments. One is 2021.
Oh, you're blurring out. I can't hear you.
I guess it's the, okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, that's better.
Right, so there are 3 amendments.
Mhm.
One is the title where district goals, it should say 2021 to 2022.
Mhm.
The other one is the, what is that graduation rate to, that was supposed to be 20%.
Mhm.
But there was another amendment.
Yes.
It was
65,
increasing, yeah, the base.
the base 65.5, is it?
Yes.
Okay, so I make a motion for those 3 amendments.
Second.
Ms. Emery seconds.
Okay.
All right, Ms. Orson, can you call for the vote on that?
I have a hand raised from Mr. Campbell.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Question.
I didn't see you. Go, Mr. Campbell.
I have a question for the attorney. Is this vote all or nothing, or can you separate the ones that
You can actually separate.
Okay. Thank you.
All right,
Okay.
ready for vote. Ms. Powell,
Yes.
Mrs. Morgan,
Yes.
Mrs. Hembry,
Yes.
Mrs. Anderson Person,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell,
Yes, with the exception of 2 and 5, no.
duly noted, and Ms. Workman.
Yes.
The ayes have it, motion's been approved, noting a no vote from Mr. Campbell on district goals number 2 and 5.
Okay. Great. Thank you. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen for that one. And all right, so that will, let's see, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that will conclude the district goals. And as we had said before, so we want to make sure that we're clear, these are approved pending review with the Chief School Administrator, Dr. Diana Mitchell, for the 2021-2022 school year. And at this time, yes. Mm-hmm. I can't hear you. Are you on mute?
Okay, I think it would help if you would explain to the public the reason for this meeting so late and how the board did not want to give this to the new board, and that how we're already late because I think people are thinking that this was unrealistic and that we shouldn't have done this, but to explain why the board had to do this at this time and again, and the way we had to do it, which was via a petition.
Okay. Attorney Blackburn?
Yeah, I would really recommend that we just, you have the record of it, and I would recommend simply saying that this was a meeting that was called based upon a petition of the board members.
Okay, well, that's just so they know. All right.
Okay. All right, so again, that was a meeting. This was a meeting that was done with a petition of board members. And so we've completed the portion of the district goals for the period 2021-2022. So that's done. The next thing we would move over to would be the merit goals. However, Attorney Blackburn, we have 4 of our non-conflicted board members present.
Then you do not have a quorum in order to do that.
Correct. So because, and just be clear with the public, we do not have Jocelyn Castro, which is a non-conflicted board member, scheduled to be here. She is not feeling well. She's under the weather. So she sends her apologies. So we will not be able to continue with those final 2 things. So at this time, we would actually be concluding our business for today. And we do thank, we do thank everyone for attending. Mr. Campbell, you have your hand up?
Yes, thank you. Also, Mr. Andrews is a non-conflicted.
Correct. I'm sorry. Yes, Mr. Andrews is not present, as well as Ms. Castro is not present.
And while I have the floor, I'd like to ask Ms. Blackburn a question.
Yes.
Suppose the superintendent doesn't accept these, what's the next step?
The board can just approve them. The board can just, it's simply, it's not for her to approve, it is to meet with her to discuss them, that's all.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, thank you for that clarity, Mr. Campbell, because people may not have understood that. So thank you for asking that question. Okay, do we have any other questions or comments from board members? No?
I have one more question. I'm sorry.
Sure. That's okay.
I have one more question for Ms. Blackburn. The newly elected board members to be, if there was a caucus with the new board members and some of the existing board members to share what we have experienced over the years and perhaps giving them some insight into hitting the ground running. Is there a problem with a quorum if two existing board members met with 3 of the incoming board members?
You don't have a quorum until they're sworn in.
Okay.
So, two of the current members with 3 new does not constitute a quorum.
So up to 4 existing board members and 3 new board members could meet. That's the max.
Up to 4, however, you should not do it for the purpose of not having a quorum. If the purpose is to not have a quorum, then I don't recommend it. But if so long as you do not have a quorum, it is technically not a meeting.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, good. And I'm just trying to make sure we didn't miss anybody. I don't see any hands up. Board members, you're good? Okay. Well,
Wait,
yes.
yeah. Ms. Blackburn, and piggybacking on Mr. Campbell's question, as of tonight at 12:59, Mr. Campbell, let's say Mr. Campbell and Ms. Morgan will no longer be members, and the 3 other board members won't be board members until they're sworn in. So let's just say the 5 of them got together and none of them are sworn in or out.
Actually, yeah, and Ms. Pyle, I need to check whether this one has taxed my vacation brain. Thank you very much. Only because, yeah, you want to see the snow outside? Only because I don't remember whether or not their term expires at midnight or whether it expires when the new members are sworn in. So I cannot specifically comment. I don't have my book with me.
Okay. Okay.
When can you let us know?
If you give me about half hour.
Okay.
Okay, that'll work.
Okay.
I believe it's when at reorganization, you.
That's what I think. I'm like
That's what I think
I'm like
too.
95% sure, but I need to pull out the statute.
Unless they change the law.
Yeah, I don't think they
think
did. I think, I think it is until they're sworn in, because there's actually a case where a board had a meeting with the outgoing board. Actually, a recent case, it was the Hillside case, where they had a meeting and then with the old board, and then they swore in the new members on the same day. So as I said, I'm about 95% sure. I just want to check the statute.
So did that meeting hold?
Their actions did not hold.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. For many different reasons, but for a series of different reasons.
Okay.
It actually dealt with, I think the case dealt with amending the superintendent's contract.
Mm.
So I just need to pull the statute.
Okay. Ms. Morgan, did you have your hand up?
I'd just like to thank everyone for this opportunity to participate in this process, which is critical to the future of the students of the Plainfield Public School District. Thank you.
Thank you. And just on behalf of myself and Ms. Henbury, Ms. Pyle, just wanted to say thank you to Ms. Morgan and Mr. Campbell, Ms. Workman, for your service to the board. And we certainly appreciate you using your vacation time to join us today to get this done. And definitely like to say thank you to Mr. Hassan and to Attorney Blackburn, giving of yourselves on your time off. We're grateful and we appreciate your service to the district. We won't bother you.
Happy.
But we do appreciate the fact that you are in service to children. So we appreciate your advice, your professionalism, and your follow through. So thank you very much. And we thank the audience again for your time. Happy New Year to everybody today. We did again during public comments hear what you had to say with regard to the IT issues, the website issues, logging on, concerns about the variant and how we will be coming back into the school building. So we did hear you and we will be following, passing this along to the superintendent, and we would expect that you would have updates shortly so that you'd be able to plan, because that parent was correct. It is difficult for a parent to drop on a dime, to change your schedule for work and to go from dropping your kid off of school to going to virtual and expecting your employer to follow that. So we will definitely try to make sure that we communicate that to the superintendent and her staff. And I'm sure they'll work to make sure that this is a little bit more streamlined to give you the proper notice. So thank you again for your time. All right, so I think we're good.
Have a happy New Year.
Everybody, Happy New Year.